What's up, everyone? So today we're going to be doing Saturn in the 12th house. Ooh, Saturn is coming to an end too. I'm so sorry. So what is Saturn and what is 12th house? Well, 12th house represents foreign lands. Okay, it represents permanent settlements, very, very long settlements in foreign lands. 12th house is known as a house of confinement, meaning that asylums, ashram, jail cells, hospital, places in isolation, because 12th house is the isolated place compared to the whole chart. It represents losses, loss of your money, loss of your energy. It could be either one. It doesn't always have to be loss of money. It can actually show profits in foreign lands. So if your ascendant is in the 12th house, it shows profits from foreign lands. But in your own land, you won't have any profits, okay? So it doesn't represent loss all the time. It just represents loss of your energy, things that you give, like charity. It shows that it's a house of charity. It's a house of spirituality, house of your subconscious mind. It's a house of astral travel, the other dimensions. This is one house that is separated from the entire house. Why? Because this house is not of the material world. It doesn't show material world. However, if you still want to look at it in a realistic perspective, it shows the material world in foreign lands. Okay. Saturn, what is Saturn? Saturn is restriction. Saturn is a delay of things. Saturn puts law and order into things. Saturn likes discipline. He wants to teach you discipline if you don't have discipline. Okay. Saturn represents your karmic backlog. Wherever it sits, it represents what kind of deeds you have done in your past life. Okay, so this is what Saturn really is. And so when it comes to the 12th house, first of all, what it does, it restricts your peace of mind, your quest for spirituality, your quest for your quest for private time, and your quest to find a place where you can be yourself. It delays it up to the age of 30. Okay, it'll give you can of course go into any ashram right now, walk in there, and you're like, hey, I just beat Saturn to 12,000, I'm 24 years old. But try staying in there. Try being in that isolated place. You will be around people. You will have some sort of illness where you have to move back to your own among people. So that's what the first thing it does. It actually blocks those spiritual avenues, those astral travels, those other dimensions that you seek. But it only blocks it to a certain age until your first Saturn return, which happens between 28 and 30. So once you cross this, that's when you slowly then start to develop. It's not just going to come suddenly, you turn 30 and you're going to be like enlightened. No, it's going to come and progress slowly starting from that point. Now, Saturn represents lower class, unprivileged people. And don't think of it class again like those Hindu caste system, just lower people in a lower plane on this planet. Like somebody in Somalia. A family in Somalia has like literally $1 a week to survive on. So they're unprivileged. So what Saturn does, it forces a person to go into foreign lands and support the unprivileged people, to bring discipline into the social status where there's a lot of chaos. Because again, Saturn represents foreign lands. So these people, what they usually do at one point in their life, especially in their mid-30s, they start to get attracted to helping the unprivileged in foreign lands. Okay. So what you can see from here is a foreign policy diplomat. You can see a Secretary of State who goes out and keeps the social foreign relations intact. Okay. Now, from this house, Saturn aspects the second house of family, wealth, lineage, family history, assets, money. And what it does from its third aspect, because Saturn looks at the 3rd, 7th, and 10th place from wherever he sits. So from 12th house, he looks at the second house. So what it does, it creates a separation with the family early on in an age, or separation with, your cousins or your land early on in age. They kind of, feel good about leaving that side of life. They want to create their own identity, because with Saturn in the 12th house, what happens is these people are lost of identity. They do not know who they are. They kind of battle between, am I my family lineage or am I my own person? Okay, so these people get a separation from family into foreign lands. So these people usually move into foreign lands permanently. Okay, and that's where they discover themselves. But that too after the age of 30. So after the age of 30, they realize, okay, slowly, this is who I am. I'm a social philanthropist. I am somebody who is seeking the spiritual realm. Because these are the people who seek the spiritual realm. Because remember, we always seek things that we cannot have. We always want to be millionaires. Always we work hard, even though we cannot get there. So these people actually turn out as spiritual people, but they do not find that true spiritual realm and that meaning until after the mid-age. Okay, but from the second house, although it delays the savings of a person, it gives a lot of money. In foreign lands, this person makes a lot of money. So don't think 12th house Saturn gives you losses and no money. This is actually a good position for somebody who can make profits in foreign lands. Okay, and then Saturn looks at the 6th house. And Saturn from the 12th house looks at the 6th house with this full 100% aspect. Okay, and what it does with the 6th house, it again fights to keep the marriage intact because 6th house represents divorces. So Saturn delays that. Saturn restricts that. He's going to restrict this person from getting a divorce if they marry at a later age. Even at an early age, it'll give a lot of turbulence, but it'll keep the marriage intact. Okay, so, and here Saturn is about, again, social justice, social injustice. He wants to correct that social injustice for people because 6th house represents, litigation. It represents fighting the enemies for justice. So here Saturn in the 12th house fights his enemies for other people, for social justice. So this placement of Saturn can actually represent one of the best prime ministers or presidents. So if you want to vote for a president with this kind of alignment, make sure if he has Saturn in the 12th house, he's a person who will really be out there to help his people and to help others. He would want to save the world. Okay, and Saturn's aspect on the 9th house, again, it can restrict his relationship with religious beliefs, with higher gurus, teachers, professors. So what it can do, it can actually restrict your higher education, meaning like if you're trying to get a master's or PhD, it may be tough until, again, after mid 35s, mid 30s, if you go back to school, you understand everything a lot more. But here Saturn wants to reject the social norm, not the social norm, the social cultural belief system. They don't want to be like, oh, I don't want to believe in this. No, I want to find my own self. Because again, remember, Saturn is lost in the 12th house. Okay. And also one thing you need to remember with this placement is that Saturn usually makes a person either work in foreign lands or work in asylums or jail cells, like a warden in jail. Not even a warden, like they can be any kind of a worker, people who even clean jail cells. Even though inmates do it most of the time, but people who are there taking care of these kind of places, Saturn can represent that. These people can work in some sort of a not even mortuary, monastery. They can work in a monastery. They can be, somebody who is a director of certain isolated places. So it can definitely represent that. This can also represent international business. Okay. So this is what Saturn represents in the 12th house. So everyone, if you're new to my channel, subscribe above. And if you want to know more about where your planet is placed, where your Saturn is placed along with every other planetary placement, check out my link below. Check out my book, The Astrology at the Speed of Light. And when you get the book, I will send you a link to look at your own chart. Otherwise, tomorrow I will be announcing my next planet in series. See ya.